Hey crypto folks, in today's update we're going to discuss how QuadrigaCX has been approved for creditor protection and whether or not you should see any of your money back or your crypto back from this debacle. Today is February 7, 2019, and stick around for these updates. All right, welcome back for another PAL Group update on the QuadrigaCX situation. As you can see, as of February 5th, 2019, they updated their website. I know it's been a couple of days. I was actually going to do a video, but I wanted to wait until a little bit more content, a little bit more research and news was released so that I could have some better content for you folks. So again, like and subscribe if you got some value out of this video today. And be sure to tick the little bell so that you get any future updates right away so that you don't have to go searching for it. And if you're busy, I know a lot of people don't want to deal with the burden of staying up to date with these things because there's a lot to, frankly, there's a lot to stay up to date with. So if you don't want to go through that burden yourself, just subscribe to this channel and tune in for any future update. So as you can see here, there isn't really anything new in this first few paragraphs here. It's just a regurgitation of what they had previously had on their website. Just goes into detail about how they have lost access to their significant cryptocurrency reserves and how they're held on cold wallets, how they've appointed Ernst & Young as the independent third party to the monitor to oversee these proceedings. And they go into detail about the Q&A. So this is nice to see that they have some questions and answers that people, you know, for the most part, people have just been sitting in the dark without any clue. So it's nice that they're taking the step in the right direction to make sure that their customers are informed. So what does it mean? You can read this all on your own time. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. So first and foremost, it's not going to be anytime soon. It's like I said in the previous videos, this is going to be a fairly long, drawn-out process. And again, they go to state here that they're under the assumption that a solution will not be reached in the near term. So there goes, that solidifies our thinking. It's not, hopefully you're prepared to wait. And guys, if you're affected negatively by this, you know, there's always somebody that you can reach out to talk to. I know for myself, you know, losing 5 figures from this whole situation, it doesn't feel good, but I stuck by my golden rule, which was not invest any more than I was willing to lose. So yeah, it's tough to deal with, but at the end of the day, I always told myself if it went to zero, I wouldn't care. And unfortunately, that's what happened, but we'll have to stay positive because it might not, we might get some crypto back, we might get some fiat back, we don't know. We'll just have to keep our chin ups and hope for the best. So the reason why they can't access the cold wallet, so obviously they say that Jerry, the CEO who passed away in India, the Indian authorities actually confirmed his death. He had sole responsibility to the coins or to the wallets. He was the only one with the private keys, and they were encrypted on his laptop, which is now held by the RCMP, I believe, in the latest update of Nova Scotia. They have a ex-worker from the RCMP who does, who's an IT specialist, and he's trying to decrypt and crack the laptop to try and get access to these reserves. And you may have noticed in the past that QuadrigaCX actually said that they had multi-signature wallets, which meant that if in the event that one person wasn't there or was deceased, there would still be 2 other keys that, so picture this, if there was one wallet and there was 3 people who had a key, who had multi-sig access, if one person wasn't available, 2 people could unlock. So if any of those 3 were not available, the other 2 could unlock the wallet. So in this instance, if that would have been the case, if they would have had that technological advantage, to their cold wallets, then, you know, if Jerry passed away, we would, which he did, we would still have 2 people left alive to, you know, provide those other keys to unlock the reserves. So it's a little bit of contradiction there with regards to some previous articles. If you just Google, there's lots of media surrounding that, and how, you know, they've basically, it's just sketchy, right? All these things are coming up as we go on, because the more we look into it, the more dirt comes our way, and nobody was really looking into it before because we didn't have any reason to, right? So moving on from there, what steps? So we've hired an outside consultant to access these cold wallets. To date, we have accessed a few coins, but not many. So will you opt to extend? Our focus right now is the initial 30 days and determining a plan how to deal with the customer obligations. So probably, in my opinion, they're going to extend it. So again, it's going to be a month or 2 months, 6 months, could even be a year. We'll just have to prepare for the worst, right? And just hope that we see something in return. So why go through this process when you can just file for bankruptcy? Again, they're taking the right approach, in my opinion. They're talking about the customers and how this is protect the interest of customers. And later on in this video, I'll talk about how they were concerned about the anonymity of their customers as well, and how they didn't want to just address in, you know, publicly a list of all of the customers and the amounts of money that they had, because that is a breach of privacy, right? And just think of it as your bank account. Would you want somebody just publicly putting your bank account balance on the internet, right? Or in this file? Will the website ever be back online? So until this process is completed, it will be offline. It is expected that all account balances on the platform existing as of the date of filing will be dealt with through the CCAA process. Together with the monitor, Ernst & Young, the company will determine if it's feasible to restart the website at a later date, assuming they have authorization from the authorities. Here's another one as well that I wanted to share with everybody. So some positive news if the outcome is negative, and let's say hypothetically we do not get access again to our funds. This is for you. So can I still access my trading history and account information even though the website is inactive? Each customer's trading history will be preserved. So what that means is we'll be able to at least claim it as a 100% loss, and it's still 60 days. So if it's wrapped up within, you know, the first 60 days of the year, we can claim that on our 2018 filing, if not on the 2019 or 2020 or whatever it may be, whenever this concludes. So who should I get in contact with? So Ernst & Young, and they'll provide further updates when possible. So again, it's very vague right now. We're going to have to wait and see what comes our way and just deal with it as it comes. One thing I want to reiterate before continuing is that if you are affected by this and you're emotionally affected by this, and you know you have a substantial financial loss from these events, make sure you reach out and talk to somebody, whether or not it's just dropping a comment in the link below. You can vent. I love reading all the comments that you guys post, and this is what drives me to make these videos, is to know that I'm providing value and information to those that are unaware or just haven't heard yet, or just didn't understand, or just simply needed somebody to talk to. So again, it's all fun and games until, you know, we see all this stuff online about exchanges getting hacked, and you never think it's going to be you, and you never really fully understand until it happens to you. So I can fully relate. I've lost 5 figures again in this whole situation, and there's been times where I just needed to talk to somebody about it, and it made me feel a lot better. So if you are, you know, if you're not at ease and you're just finding it hard to focus, and you know you're just down and depressed, reach out, talk to somebody, maybe a counselor or somebody in your family or your friends or what have you. Even if it's just dropping a comment below, I'd love to hear from you and spark a conversation, and hopefully we can all move past this terrible situation. And it's not over until it's over, and we'll just have to hope for the best, keep your chin up, and we'll continue on with the rest of the update. Next, I'd like to discuss how the exchange QuadrigaCX has been approved for creditor protection. And this is an article, again, I'd like to see something a little bit more official come out at this point, possibly on their website, but as we know, they've been fairly slow at getting around to those things. But again, they're going through a lot of legal issues, so it's taking time. Their lawyers are obviously working hard on the case, and they were just in court on February 5th. So I would hope that the updates are going to start coming along a lot more faster in an expedited fashion, especially since they've, pointed to their customers being their main concern. Hopefully they will keep us in the loop a little bit more quicker in the near future. So with regards to Quadriga receiving creditor protection, I don't think anybody really was surprised by this. They only had 5 days to compensate their customers, which isn't a lot of time. And there's still going to be another hearing. There could be a few more hearings. So again, there wasn't really any doubt in my mind. But again, Ernst & Young will oversee the company's activity during this period. So they'll basically have somebody looking over their shoulder, which is nice. And it just goes to reiterate some of the basics of the story, the original pieces of the story that we've already covered on this channel. But within the next few months, the experts from Ernst & Young will help in aiding the company, Quadriga, to recover these assets to compensate the 90 to 150,000 customers that lost money as a result of this debacle. So you can read this on your own time. You can just go to Google and search it. But here they mention that while the death of Quadriga's CEO was confirmed by Indian authorities, the cryptocurrency community suspects that the exchange has opted to an exit scam, as the story with the lost keys looks suspicious. And even the CEO of Kraken called them out and said that it's super suspicious and just unbelievable, frankly. So some interesting topics here as well. Now I'd like to share with you all a reporter I've been following on Twitter. His name is Jack Julian. On your own time, I highly suggest that you look this up and look him up. And he was kind enough to go through, he was a reporter that showed up at the hearing on February 5th in the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. And he was kind enough to go through as a play-by-play and keep us all up to date as the hearing went on. So definitely go check that out. But I'll just highlight a couple things here in order to, and maybe you don't have the time to go out there and do this. So a couple things that I found interesting. He said, I'm at the Quadriga hearing, and I don't think any of us were surprised by this. It was sort of expected that the widow of Jerry Cotton was not there due to safety concerns, but she was available if anything needed to be cross-examined on her affidavit. So again, it's another red flag we would expect. I mean, I think everybody pretty much assumed that she wasn't going to be there. Another red flag, and it's all very, very sketchy. Even the CEO of Kraken said it was a hard to believe story. And it's just, the more as time goes on, it's just, you can't help but wonder what really happened. So anyway, enough conspiracies. At this point, he said, apparently lawyers for Quadriga are finding more money all the time. They got word last weekend of a bank that may be holding 11 million in Quadriga funds. So there's some positive outlook. Another update, the laptop was up to now in possession of Quadriga's lawyers in Toronto. Waddell Phillips, it was being examined by an ex-RCMP computer expert to see what they could do as it was encrypted. Discussion of privacy interests of crypto holders. Quadriga lawyer wants to monitor Ernst & Young to compile a list of names of crypto holders, their emails, and the amount of money that they had in the exchange, but doesn't want this to be public. And in another post, they said that the anonymity of the holders is important. It's the equivalent of your bank account being published online, right? So your cash account, and maintaining that privacy for clients was the utmost importance. So, and it will be revisited. The judge says that the issue of representative counsel is not urgent enough to rush the timeline. Again, go here, check this out on your own time, read it in its entirety. It will definitely be worth it in the long run. There will be a hearing on that at 9:30 on February 14th back in the Nova Scotia Supreme Court. So again, we could see a few more hearings, a few dozen more hearings. It's not going to be a quick process, as we know. Quadriga has no office and no bank account. It exists only on a piece of paper in the business registry in British Columbia. Found that interesting. There has been a widespread suspicion online that there is some sort of nefarious activity involved in Jerry Cotton's death in India, even though the authorities confirmed his death, and that the apparent loss of US 190 million in cryptocurrency locked in his encrypted laptop. So obviously a very, very popular discussion online in the community, in the crypto community, about this exit scam, this potentially exit scam. And really at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter for us at this point. Even if he did fake his own death, you know, it would be nice to know the real story, but even if he did fake his own death, we still don't have the keys. He's still not going to show himself because he faked his own death. We still don't have the keys, even if it was true, right? So what really matters now is trying to locate these keys. And, you know, yeah, obviously if we can find Jerry Cotton, then we could get these keys or you know, get him to surrender those. But again, guys, it's sort of irrelevant at this point. They should have had a contingency plan. There should have been, like, there needs to be more governance. I know it's a decentralized, you know, asset, but there needs to be some sort of government, you know, adoption and regulation where these companies just can't operate freely under no supervision. There has to be some sort of auditing in place so that, you know, the customers and everyday folks like you and me don't get screwed over by this. And that's very, very important in my opinion. So again, there's a lot of controversy and conspiracies going online surrounding this. We'll just have to wait and see. It's really non-important right now. The fact of the matter is they try to retrieve these keys, and they're finding more reserves, you know, day after day. So we'll just have to hope that eventually the stakeholders and the people affected by this who have lost money will see at least some portion of that back. And another article here from another user on box mining on Twitter said that QuadrigaCX case update, co-founder Michael Petrin has been using a fake name. His real name is Omar Danani, who was convicted of fraud from operating an online marketplace for identity theft, if you can believe it, in the United States, and was released in 2007. So you might be thinking, as I was thinking, why are we just starting to find this dirt now, right? Why are we just starting to find out about this? Well, it's because we never really had a reason to go looking, right? So now that we've been burned, and now that there's a reason, we're starting to find all this bad information and this dirt on the company because we have a reason now. So very interesting and troubling at the same time. All right, so as we wrap things up here in today's update, I wanted to let everyone know that I contacted a local law office, and I actually have an aunt who works in a law firm, and consulted with both of them, and they advised that it didn't look good. It looked like they were going bankrupt, and they didn't really know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, but they said if this was any other company like Sears, for example, they would assume that they were going bankrupt, and that was potentially the most probable outcome. And they said that if it were them and they had any money in the exchange, they wouldn't expect to see any of it back. If we did, maybe a few $100s or a few $1,000s, but nowhere near what we would like to. Obviously, all of it would be preferred. I'd be happy with even 50% at this point, just something to know. But it really, sometimes these things happen, you know, when these things happen, they go down a list, and the people with the most money get compensated, right? So they go down a list, and if they go through the list and they run out of money, then the people that are below them essentially are SOL. There's also other cases where they do a percentage to each, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. Again, that's the absolute worst case scenario, but we'll have to stay positive, and hopefully something good will come from this. And I'll keep you posted because they also told me that I should contact Ernst & Young immediately right away and file a proof of claim with them and let them know that I was affected by this and I lost, you know, a 5-figure amount of money from this whole exchange going down. So they said to contact them right away and file that claim. And I would encourage that each and every one of you do the exact same. And I will be sure to let you know once I hear back from them. I spoke with them. I filed the claim, the proof of claim, but I haven't heard anything back yet. So the second I do, I'll be sure to let everyone here know. And I would strongly encourage you each to do that again, because it's only going to help your situation, and the squeaky wheel gets the grease, if you're familiar with that term. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. Make sure you comment below if you got some opinions or something you'd like to share with the group. And be sure to like and subscribe, tick the little bell. You'll be the first to know when I come out with the next update. And we will talk to you all again soon. Take care and keep your chin up. Everything will be okay. It's just money.